Hello and welcome to another episode of The Power of You. I'm not
He,
Doland White.
no, he is. He is
Inside joke, folks.
He is Blaine. He's definitely Blaine Bartlett. I'm Doland.
Okay. Ah,
Oh my God. You're welcome to The Power of You. This is what happens in The Power of You.
yeah, typically these are kind of a greenfield sort of an operation. Evergreen, not greenfield, evergreen, but
Yeah,
this is our third show in the last 3 hours. So
I know. Right?
we're a little
I'm getting punchy at this point.
oh, good Lord.
There you go.
Well, we've got a good one lined up for you. This is I'm actually pretty excited about this. And I say that all the time, I know, but this time, this time I mean it.
I'm getting a mic ready. I got my mic. There we go. Speaking of being punchy, there we go. Maybe I need my mic. Okay,
there we go. Okay, well, life is good here. So I'm going to go there. The Power of You. And today, what are we doing? Today, we're doing something kind of interesting here.
Yeah. I'm excited about this.
We're looking at the 7 hidden laws, and there are 7, because we say so. The hidden laws of leadership. Okay. Now, James Baldwin, there was a great movie that was made where he was a central character in it. Civil rights activist, contemporary of Martin Luther King. And he was kind of the philosophical ground, if you will, of the entire civil rights movement. This guy, I mean, you think about, integrity, and he caught hell for it too.
Right.
There's all kinds of stuff that went on, but he had this great quote: "Every society is really governed by hidden laws." We think that we're paying attention to what's out there, but there's something underneath that's kind of in play here. And if you put this in the context of the civil rights movement back in the 1960s, it's the background of the obvious that everybody kind of wink, nods at. These are the hidden laws. They're unspoken, but profound assumptions on the part of the people, and ours is no exception. We have profound experiences of the unspoken, things that actually facilitate the way that we work, regardless of what's being spoken about out there.
Yeah.
The coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Love this quote. This is and I know leaders, as you listen to it, you're going to go, what hidden laws? We know the laws. You told us there's 5 of them. I must always be in control. Those the 5 lies. Sorry.
The 5 lies.
The 5 lies. But no, it's really interesting because there are, and my first exposure to this was with you, in Concord.
Yeah.
Talking about going through these over the course of 3 days at the event there. God, 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And but there are hidden laws. There is that undercurrent that happens inside of the body of leadership. That is, what excites me is to have an opportunity to talk about this, because these are laws that don't get spoken of. Hence, hidden laws.
Yeah.
So,
and they are laws because you violate them, and there's actually kind of hell to pay sometimes.
Oh, these are laws. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
Yeah,
they're real, and these are laws.
So, because they're hidden, you can just make the assumption that we have blind spots around them. And there's more than 4. We got 7 laws in play here, but just in the interest of consistency, we're going to keep this dialed in to 4 major blind spots here. We'll just kind of go through them in sequence here. The one blind spot, I mean, this is, I think, pretty typical because we're governed by what our senses will tell us, what we hear, see, smell, taste, feel, that kind of stuff. If we can see it or measure it, it must be real. And we organize a lot of our behavior in businesses and organizations around what we can see, taste, feel, smell, all that stuff. Our senses tell us. It's not the obvious that's going to derail the best laid plans. It's the background stuff. It's the
Yeah.
hidden law things that will, I mean, when I've gotten a little older to do this, but that's not to say I don't do it. But I used to do a lot of downhill skiing, a lot. I mean, it's pretty aggressive. And every now and then I would just go ass over tea kettle, just it's kind of like, what happened? Then I got skis going one direction, I got poles going the other direction.
Yeah.
The common term that we use were snow snakes.
Oh,
Snow snake grabbed me. A snow snake grabbed my edge.
yeah.
They're hidden. It was this kind of little hidden rut or something that I didn't notice that was there, and it was controlling that particular piece that I was skiing on. So
Yeah.
that's
I love it. I love that. It is that hidden thing that will get you. Oh yeah. Same thing with water skiing. Anyway, another power you will do skiing. We'll just do skiing stuff. But I love the second one. Success is ultimately about execution. And I think that's as leaders, we're driven on this, and we talk about this, right? The purpose of one of the tenets of leadership is you cause movement. Movement is not execution. It can be confused between those two things. But you overvalue the business case and undervalue the requisite variety. And we'll talk about requisite variety just a skosh here as we get further into the slides. Actually, as we really take apart hidden law, we'll get into requisite variety. Yeah. But it is very true. It's easy to get caught on that hinge, I think, of I must be executed. If I'm not executing, if something hasn't been executed, therefore I am not successful.
Yep. And why didn't the business case was logical. I mean, how could anybody argue against the business case? It holds water.
It does.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so we rely on it, we overvalue it, and it's kind of like, well, okay, the system doesn't like to be pushed.
Right. Right.
Which kind of moves us into number 3 here, which is the environment is not neutral.
Yeah.
I mean, the environment is a living, breathing entity, and it has its own agenda.
Yeah.
So we assume that there's clarity, and again, we kind of go back to the business case. We tucked it up. We really tightened it up. It's perfect. You assume clarity and focus equals future success. It doesn't, because what we're doing is ignoring what's in the water. That's the environment. What's in the water? What are the hidden laws that are in play here? And number 2 and number 3 are similar. They're just different ways of actually voicing the same thing, because they actually have different attentional dimensions to them.
Yeah. I love how they blink together. They have a link together. The number 4, just to go past this, abundant resources are not the silver bullet. And I love that statement about you forget creativity and innovation are forged in the absence of resources. Well, it's funny. It's funny, and the leaders think about it. When things are perfect and everything is going 100% smooth and things are beautiful and the revenue is there and your profit is there and your people are all happy and you walk in the room and they sing your name, do you innovate?
No. It's kind of like,
no.
God, we got money in the bank.
No, exactly. That's the moment you walk in and go, why touch something that's working?
Yeah.
Why am I going to do that?
So complacency is built into abundance.
Yes,
in very interesting ways.
I've been fortunate and guilty of that a couple of times in my career. We go, damn, things are going good. We're beating all our goals. I'm going to leave it alone.
Yep.
And it works for a short period of time.
Why are you worried about our burn rate? We got plenty of money.
Yeah, it's okay. I just throw money in it. That's all good. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And you notice things showing up. I mean, we're going to kind of key these to these 4 blind spots.
Right.
Lack of resources stalls the work. I mean, it's interesting how that ends up happening. People start going, well, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough money. We don't have a head count that we need. And that becomes the energetic focus. And leaders will listen to those stories. Leaders will hear them, because, we're nice people. We don't want to get in people's faces and that kind of stuff. And so, but that becomes the reason why we can't move from point A to point B. We don't have resources.
Yeah.
And in the system, you don't have a method or a structure that encourages innovation and creativity. That is your go, that is the key out.
Yeah. And I love that. That's a symptom, you guys, you leaders, I shouldn't say you guys, you people. Uh, Another whole movie comes to my mind. Who you calling you people? But anyway, pushback. But pushback. I love
Yeah.
the statement here. We're hearing you don't understand more frequently when we try to implement new changes. And you don't understand is a polite way of saying, yeah, but.
Mhm.
And it's the gateway to not people not being willing to adapt to change. And I talk about that all the time, Blaine, around the definition of success.
Yep. Which actually kind of moves us back in, what we call it is, the continuous pursuit of a worthy ideal. There's a whole definition of success that we work with in our mastermind program that, it takes a year to actually get through this thing and really integrate it.
Yes.
But when you land on that, it's very profound. Got a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
Typical symptom that you're going to find happening a lot is, hey, I'm a motivator. I'm a motivating leader. I know how to motivate my people.
Oh, yeah.
What's the cost? I got to keep coming back to the farm here to uncover another potato to take out into the world here. If you're relying on motivation, you're always reinventing the wheel in terms of what's incentivizing your people. And if that's the symptom that you're encountering, there's something that's missing. And this is one of the symptoms of one of the major hidden laws that we'll be looking at around, what we call, euphemistically here, massive motivation.
Right.
Not just motivation, but massive motivation. What does that make possible?
Right. Yeah, I love that. And then last symptoms, and there's a lot more, many, many more symptoms. But the current situation is preventing movement, right? You find it hard to blunt perfectly logical and reasonable comments about why the economy is limiting us. And that's one of a million excuses, by the way.
Yep.
That can be applied, and we've heard economy, we've heard tariffs, we heard staffing, we've heard
COVID.
We've heard, but it could be a black swan. There's all kinds of things. What happens is as an organization, you fail to know that you are more than your current situation. You are more than that current situation at all times, which is the sign of a powerful leader. You can acknowledge the situation, but the situation doesn't get weight as a stopping point.
Yeah. Yep.
You have to, if you try not to acknowledge the situation, you fail. You acknowledge it.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is right. It is what it is. And I can control it or I can't control it.
Which moves us right into a very interesting conversation around Stoic philosophy, which we're not going to have.
Not today. Yet another power of you in about 3 weeks. We could do that.
There you go. We'll do a whole thing on meditations.
Perfect. That would be fun. We'd love that.
Either Meditations or the Discourse by Epictetus.
There you go.
Anyway, we
digress. Just stay with us, leaders. Stay with us. Here we go.
Love this slide. I'm gonna tip of the hat here. You consolidated 2 slides that we use all the time, and I love the elegance of this. I really do. So much I'm going to just bring it up.
There you go. Thank you.
So leadership, this is how we define it, is the activity of influencing other people. This is not about command and control. It's about state of being. It's about my leadership presence. It's about the story of who I am that gets in the room before I get in the room that generates the initial movement that's going on. Influence in order to co-creation. Ownership has transferred. It's not just my idea. It's now our idea. I've got a piece of this. Coordinated movement. Going into new territory, which is informed by the worthy ideal. If we're going into new territory, we don't know how to do the dance. So how do we coordinate?
Right.
So leadership focuses on these areas: influencing, co-creation, coordinated movement, and the worthy ideal. And that worthy ideal is not the vision, the goals, the objectives. It's the answer to what matters. Yeah, we had a question that came up in the mastermind program that we were
Right.
running this morning, because we meet every Tuesday in this mastermind class that Dolan and I teach for a year. And one of the questions came up, and it was a legitimate question. What's the difference between my vision? And this was a new member of the group. What's the difference between my vision and what you're saying is the worthy ideal? And this is where that question of for the sake of what matters comes into play. Vision is a placeholder. Underneath it, you start doing an excavation. What matters? That's the vision. Why does that matter? That's the vision. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? For the sake of what? What does that make possible? So you just keep digging until you get down to bedrock. That's what really matters here. The vision is a symbol of it, but this is what matters.
Yeah.
And you land on that. Now you've got a foundation, because leadership is the bridge between who we are and what we create together. And if you don't have a foundation that you can stand on, you can't answer the question, how do I know what to do when I don't know what to do? The way you answer that question is grounded in your for the sake of what matters. And then that leadership universe, these are the 5 domains that you actually bounce around in as a leader.
Right.
And our work, typically is organized around imagination as it applies to spirit and soul and mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we work. So the hidden laws, by the way, live in these bottom 2 areas.
Yeah.
Specifically, they live in this gray tier here. And it's gray for a reason.
Yes.
It's great. It's not concrete. It's not black and white. Although it shows up as black and white, but there's a whole lot of wiggle room in mindset when you start working with it well.
Yeah. Awesome.
So the hidden laws of leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's we pull. Oh, that's okay. That's the wrong slide. Okay.
That's
gonna blow right by that one.
There we go. We'll go on. There we go.
That was a test. The matrix here.
It was a test to see if the leaders were paying attention.
So we've got 7 of them.
Yep.
The law. Yeah, the authentic self. We'll just kind of read them off here, and then we're going to go into each one of them here. Yeah. The authentic self, leadership authenticity. We're talking about leadership as the activity of influencing. Part of the hidden law that comes into play here is rooted in this notion of authenticity, authentic self.
Yeah.
Distorted reality.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of how do you see what's out there? You got the environment saying everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. What are we going to do? We can't do this because, well, there's a lot that you can do with that.
Oh yeah. And creative constraint with it, which leaders is, I'm sure part of some of you just cocked your head to the left and went, huh? So I never hear the word creative put in front of constraint. So creative constraint, requisite variety. We promise we're going to spend some time inside of the body of requisite variety. That's an important, all of these are so important as part of the study.
Yeah. And ontological design. Now that's an interesting combination of words as well.
It is.
Ontology is the study of reality. Design is what we do inside reality. So ontological design, we're going to be taking a look at that. There are laws that apply to how you're working in the environments in which you're working.
Mm-hmm.
Elegant movement. One of the litmus tests that we use all the time in the leaders with whom we're coaching and teaching is the movement you're causing requiring you to clean up after yourself more frequently than you need to be? Elegance is a metric that says minimal to no unintended consequences. Yeah. How do you position yourself to make that happen? That's one of the laws that we take a look at.
Yeah, where does it go? And then massive motivation, as Blaine was alluding to that. We talked about the for the sake of what, and that for the sake of what is not motivation, but motivation is a component of it. So we'll spend a moment or two in the side of that hidden aspect of what massive motivation is all about. And I think for the 7 leaders, as you listen to this, there's a moment where you can go, oh, that's too much. I'm going to tune out. We're going to break all of these up into a series. So this will be a series of conversations around each one of these. Just to be clear, we're not going to give you 7 today. We're going to tell you what they are, but then we're going to spend time in each at depth.
Yeah, today's just an introduction overview of these 7 laws.
So take a breath.
And to Dolan's point, we'll probably take 2 at a time as we go through this.
Yeah,
just to kind of make sure that there are linkages that are appropriately made here. But you'll get enough information to begin to go, oh, that's where that shows up.
Oh, now I know why. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh,
okay. The authentic self, leadership authenticity. Now, there's an interesting story behind this. I'm on the teaching faculty of the American Association for Physician Leadership. And these are, physicians. These are hospital administrators that have got sheepskin on the wall. They've got degrees. They've got all kinds of credentialing. And that facade of doctor kind of hides what's behind it in terms of who's the person in there. Yeah. Who am I actually speaking and connecting with? And I developed a program for them. I actually did this in collaboration with Harvard. We had developed a program that was initially called Meta Leadership, and there was a component in there that talked about authenticity. I took that component and developed a standalone program with the Physicians for Leadership Excellence Association, whatever it is, called Leadership Authenticity. And in that class, and this is the point of the story, in that class, I would always get initially, what do you mean by authenticity? How are you defining authenticity? And I would admit, when I first started the program, I'd done a lot of research. So I'd reference Kierkegaard. I would reference, Seneca. I would reference, just kind of, pick your philosopher. And people kind of going, yeah, and then just kind of glaze over. So I said, there's got to be a simple definition for authenticity that people just grok. They just get it. And this is what I came up with. Authenticity is what remains when you stop trying to impress other people. It's what's left behind. It's kind of like, I don't need this facade. Take the sheepskin down off the wall. Take the, all that stuff away. Here's who you get. Here's who you get. That's the authentic self. Now, the law has to do with being able to know what that is so that you can leverage it. We connect through our vulnerability and we disconnect through certainty. So when you're doing that, and we talked a little bit ago about, that for the sake of what, you get down to what really matters to my authentic self. That keeps the for the sake of what in view so that I now have a foundation that I can lead from. I can stand on it. And by the way, I can make it available to my people as well in a way that's appropriate for them, because their for the sake of what will likely be different than mine. And the organizations will be different. So we look for an aligning process that goes on with that. But it starts with the leader themselves going, what's authentically true here? And that's what you leverage.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That just in thinking about that it is that authentic. First, we always laugh about the rule about authenticity can't be faked.
Exactly.
The counter non-hidden law, right?
Yeah.
But I love that. It's funny, as you were talking about that, I was kind of, what was coming to my mind is, a lot of us have siblings, right? And authenticity is not that thing hanging on the wall, a sheepskin on the wall. It is what your brother or sister knows. They know you. They know the authentic you. They know you.
Yep.
So
that might be an interesting. Yeah, it's what your brother and sister say is true about you.
It is. Yes, because they know. Oh my goodness. That's why my brother's not involved in anything we do. So
there you go. Okay.
All right. Next law.
That's the law of authentic self, the law of distorted reality. Go for it.
So distorted reality, and this is, when we talk about distorted reality, we frequently refer our friend Mr. Jobs, right, when we talk about distorted reality. But reality is defined in the mind of the leader, and Blaine mentioned leaders. As you listen to this, we're going to be in that gray line of mindset, and this is specifically targeted in that zone. In the zone, there's a soul, but imagination and mindset combined together. That distorted reality. It is Communicate and lead from the intended reality. It is not where I am today. It is where I am going to be. I'm coming not from where I am at. I'm coming from where I am from my destination. That is that is the law. It says it here. It already happened. There's our dear friend, Bob Proctor. I am so happy and grateful now that.
Yep.
From an affirmation perspective. And it was always about a future state. This is my state. I am so happy and grateful now that blah, 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 blah. But when you as the leader, and I'll go short on this because we'll spend a good amount of time on all of these. The language creates and reflects reality. You as the leader, as you're communicating these statements, you're having those converse statements, and it's not the words blowing smoke comes to mind. You know, that there's authenticity, can't fake authenticity. You can't blow smoke. So there is a committed reality to you. You see that outcome in that place, and that is where you are coming from.
Yep.
You are there. And when you are there, I think you'll find an amazing situation where you'll find that your team will go there with you. And they will not go there with you over a long time. They will go there with you right now.
Yep.
They will buy in, is what a lot of people go, how do I get my team to buy in? Well, what are you talking about?
Yeah. It is a law. It is a law. People give you what they perceive you're willing to settle for.
That is a law.
That is a law. And if you're settling for that future state as being a real state, you're going to have a way to handle the yeah buts.
That is a law.
Which kind of goes directly into this whole notion of creative constraints. Mm-hmm. We have something that's called the experience of gravity in our life. Okay. Now, I woke up this morning and I was going, damn it, if it wasn't for gravity, I could fly. It would be if gravity just didn't exist, damn gravity. Now, I didn't actually wake up that way, but imagine that was the way that people around you acted. They, in the face of something that is just there, they grouse about it. They castigate it. They go, oh my God, if this wasn't here, we could do whatever. Oh, yeah. Every organization has gravity, and gravity shows up as a lack of people. It shows up as a lack of money. It shows up as a lack of time. It shows up as you fill in the blank. That's gravity. And to the degree that people grouse about gravity as a real state, it's kind of like, God, if it wasn't there, we could fly. Well, what's interesting is even in the face of gravity, the Wright brothers actually figured out, now they didn't actually do the figuring, but they actually executed on it, how to fly an airplane. And it had to do with Bernoulli's principle. Yeah. The whole lift component. Yeah. Air moves faster over the top of a wing, less pressure. So it just kind of moves. That's how you make things go up as an airplane, fixed wing aircraft. That's also how a helicopter works. Yeah. Bernoulli's principle. Right. The point here has to do with creativity. In the constraint that gravity presented, whatever gravity is, did we get innovative? Do we get creative? No is an opportunity disguised as a limitation. It shows up as a limitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. When people say no, literally what they're declaring is that there's a reality in their mind that can be really fruitfully explored. And this is where the mindset structure comes into play here.
Yeah. Again,
mindset will run 95+%. And there's a lot of studies about this, and we can cite them if you'd like. There's 95% of our behavior by the time we're about 30 years of age is governed by things that are in the mindset, unconscious. They're out of awareness. So when people are saying no to something, basically what they're doing is they're saying, I've got a relationship with reality that is telling me that that's not possible. I've got a relationship. It's not that that's not possible, but my relationship with what's going on here, the meaning I'm making up about it, says that's not possible. So I'm not going to play. No, and this kind of goes full circle. No is an opportunity disguised as a limitation. No is an opportunity for new possibilities. So just kind of bookend that. That's what we're going to be playing with. When we get into a deeper dive on creative constraint, this one is it's a house of monkeys. You can really do some very interesting things with it.
We'll have to tell the story of the 10 monkeys when we do that one.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Yeah.
Because that fits that. Oh my God. And requisite variety. And just quickly, we talk about vibrational fit. Requisite variety. The original source, I think it's Ashby's law. Ashby's law.
Yep.
Ashby's law come from it. And it means that it is tied, the complexity of your leadership is tied to match the complexity of the environment that you're operating in. It's in its simplest term, right? We talked about this in our mastermind this morning, that we are electrical beings, right? We create electricity. It's who we are, and we have their vibrational fit. It is our ability to operate the complexity of our leadership is our. This is number 3, but for today, so I'll stumble there a little bit on my words. But our leadership responses has to match the complexity of the environment. So requisite variety as a leader, this again is a hidden law for you. And this again is mindset. There's soul involved in this, and imagination is involved in this, but this is your mind thinking.
Yeah.
It is your vibrational fit, is where do you fit in the environment that you're currently operating in. And by the way, requisite variety is a skill that you adapt, because your requisite variety will change 100 times a day.
Yeah, it does. A simple way to think about this is, the system will always push back on any kind of change. It's just going to happen. Just count on it. That's gravity. Requisite variety says if you have more choices available to how you handle the pushback than the system has in pushing back, all you need is one more choice about how you handle it. So, you become one little piece, that's all you need. Just, I've got a way to handle that objection. I got a way to handle that. I got a way to, requisite variety. I require more variety than what the system has in order to function effectively as a leader.
Yep.
That's kind of where we go at. Ontological design.
There you go.
Ontological design. Here's the interesting thing about environments. And every business operates in an environment. They operate in a market environment. They operate in a social environment, a political environment. And ontology, again, is the study of reality. Design is what we do inside that reality. Yeah. Ontological design is essentially the process of designing an environment such that it designs you in return. There's a reciprocity. So you want to be designing the environment to the degree that it's possible for you to design the environment in a way that designs you in return in the manner in which you desire to become or to be. So, great example of this. So I was doing some work with a large hospital system, and they were doing some renovation on, basically capital expenditures. They were, doing some new buildings and whatnot, and they were moving the cafeteria. The hospital cafeteria. And this is the place where, the staff obviously was going to, they weren't going to go off campus to get lunch or anything else. They'd go to the cafeteria and get lunch, as well as the visitors of the patients. Well, the bright idea was, we've got a vacant basement in one of these buildings. Let's just move the cafeteria to the basement for a short period of time. Now, the short period of time they were looking at was about 18 to 24 months. So it was about a 2-year thing. And to the credit of the leader that I was working with, he literally had a fit. He went, no, that. Imagine this environment. We've got a closed in a basement, no windows, artificial lights. We've got people that are here to see sick people, help them, but they're not getting taken care of environmentally. They need to have access to sunlight. They need to have access to fresh air. They need to have, those sorts of things. So let's find another environment that will design that experience for that group of people.
Yeah.
And they pulled it off. They actually said, okay, so they had to stagger things a little bit here, but he was concerned with ontological design. Design with imagination, you design with space, and you design with time. Your environment is always feeding back on you. That reciprocity is in play. So when we start talking about this in about 3 weeks or so, we're going to go into a deep dive on what does it mean to design with ontology in mind, and why is that important?
Love that. Just love that. I put them in a basement. There you go.
Put them in the basement. Then we got space.
Oh, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Massive motivation.
Definition of a mushroom.
And I'll go pretty quick through this. Massive motivation. I love it. Just the opening sentence: being different, not better. Now stop and just think about those words, right? There's motivation where you think of being of carrot and a stick. This isn't that motivation.
Right.
This is not carrot stick motive. This is not get a bigger stick, go get a bigger carrot, go get a shorter stick with a bigger string. This isn't that motivation. The motivation is, what is it that makes me different? What am I evolving? Who am I becoming? Not for, and as the act of becoming, yes, there's improvements or there's betterment, there's things that occur, but it shifts the focus. Who am I becoming? Leverage my meaning, inviting with inspiration. Who am I becoming? The outcome from that is better. The outcome from that, many other kinds of things come from that. But that's in short, the law of massive motivation. And motivation is misinterpreted. And motivation on a normal term is extrinsic.
Yeah, it's carrot and stick.
Yep, I'm going to give you $50 for every blah, blah, blah that happens. That's motivation.
Yeah.
And
massive motivation is transformational.
Yeah.
In the way that it works. And that's why, becoming different, not better. So as a leader, one of the hidden laws, and if you take this as a hidden law, and it is a hidden law, if you're scaling your organization, you can't scale it by focusing on being better. You have to scale it by looking at how can we be different than what we've been doing? How can we be different, not better?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very much so.
That's where the for the sake of what matters comes into play.
Yes, because if you break that alignment on the for the sake of what, there's this sucking sound. Yeah, right down the drain. There you go.
So why does paying attention to these 7 laws, these hidden laws? Now we're enumerating 7 of them here, but why does it matter? Well, I learned this years ago. Every game is defined by its ground rules, and these are the hidden ground rules. When you think about playing a game, if you know the rules really well, you can do some fascinating things that other players don't know that they can do, or that it's even possible.
Yeah. The
hidden laws are running whether you're aware of them or not. And the game is defined by these laws. So as a leader, you have to know what these are. You don't have to, but it would be a good idea if you boned up on it.
Well, what you just said I think is really important. Leaders, I don't want this to get lost. And what Blaine just was talking about is there are leaders and then there are leaders. And we meet people who lead us in our careers or in our family, in our lives. We meet people who lead us to an outcome, and we kind of get there. We stumble our way there and we get there, and we consider that as leaders.
Yeah.
But a deep understanding of the hidden laws, the nature of the things that live under the current, which is why they call them hidden. We call them hidden laws.
Yeah.
That separates the quality of the leader.
Yep. And what it makes possible, and again, why this matters, success stops being dependent on most people's thinking that it's a function of staffing, of performance, of alignment, or resources. It's that stuff's important. You can't get from here to there without it. But what we're really looking at from a leadership perspective, and why these, an awareness of these laws matters, is because it becomes a practice in becoming abidingly awake. Now, abidingly, I use that word, and we use that word very specifically here. It doesn't mean awake all the time. It means, I practice noticing. I practice noticing. Yeah, abidingly awake. And when I'm awake, I start noticing things. Awareness precedes choice.
Yeah.
Awareness, the more choice I have, the more effective I am. The way that I become more aware is to keep waking up to what was not known, what was hidden.
Yeah.
That's why this matters.
Yeah. So cool. All right.
So that's this introduction to the hidden laws of leadership. We're going to, like Dolan mentioned, do a deep dive in these. We're going to probably take two at a time here and just kind of get the shovel out and see what's under there.
Dig a hole.
Yeah, and we'll give you all kinds of suggestions about how you can actually work with these laws as we go through these things.
Yeah.
The Power of You is available. I mean, we've got over 70 of these episodes already curated in this library. So the entire library is available to you. And yeah, you can take them, look at them for yourself, or you can take them and just kind of, take the video and say, team, let's watch this and then have a conversation about it. And we've got videos on change. We've got decision making. Anything and everything leadership we're touching on.
Yeah.
So we've got, like I said, over 70 of these now, and we're going to be adding to them on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of stuff, dimming, all kinds of things.
Yep. Quality, just
crazy stuff.
Way you get access to it.
There you go.
Business experience. We've got a leadership community that specifically is focused on you developing yourself and your impact as a leader. So the invitation, check it out. You go to this site, you'll be able to kind of poke around a little bit in some of the public facing material. But if you want access to some of the stuff that we're talking about, like the Power of You, you actually have to join. It's a nominal fee. Annual recurring fee, but it's certainly not designed to break the bank in any way, shape, or form. But immediately you'll have access to the Power of You platform. You'll have access to a couple of other paid programs that are bundled into this, so you're not actually going to pay for them once you're a member, and an ongoing community of like-minded people that have similar interests and similar concerns. And then Dolan and I do live meetings once a week, every Tuesday morning. We call it Eggs Benedict with Blaine and Doland. And there's a whole reason we call it Eggs Benedict, but it's a Q&A session. Yeah, we just open the floor up for about a half an hour. Come with questions, and we'll answer any question that you'll toss our way. And the answer may be, I don't know, but you'll get an answer.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. So
there you go.
There you go. Take advantage of this. I would love to see you join the community. And we will see you next week as we start looking into the first two of the hidden laws of
leadership.
Leadership. Thanks for listening, folks. Take care.
See you later.